In this area, very small components such as integrated circuits and transistors and diodes are assembled to ceramic substrates to form a hybrid. The hybrid is important in the production of radio systems in that it reduces the power requirements, the space, and therefore the cost to the customer. Many of the jobs in manufacturing, such as maintaining the stock rooms, prepping components, setting up jobs for the next assembly, and delivering components to the various manufacturing organizations are critical to schedule compliance. The radio assembly area depends on central staging to form the leads and to prepare and deliver the kits that contain everything the assembly worker needs to get their jobs done efficiently.
All the jobs we receive are kitted in central staging so that when the assembler sits down, everything needed to build a particular sub-assembly is right there. The units that are built in this area must be handled with care and assembled in a precise way because the quality of each individual sub-assembly is critical to the overall performance of a radio system. A variety of sub-assemblies are built in this area and many require several operations before they are complete. The FMO, or frequency modulating oscillator, and the preamp are examples of some of the more complicated components that come from the assembly area. Like other departments involved in making parts for radio systems, our primary goal is to make a quality product and at the same time stick to a planned production schedule. Sometimes this isn't possible. These PC boards, for instance, are complete with the exception of missing transformers. Shortages and partials and MI changes cause delays, but we try to work around them as best we can to stay on schedule and meet the factory ship dates. Thank you, Jean.
Don't mention.
The assembly department has completed their work on this particular shelf. It was QC'd, cold checked, went to stock. It's then issued to me per my PA schedule. I cross-reference it to a sales order number and apply a tuning tag, which gives everyone the information of the ship date, sales order number, and what frequency this particular transmitter has got to be built for. We've already put in about 2 weeks' labor on the various components, and we're all ready to assemble it now into a transmitter. In building a transmitter, quality control is very important. Although it takes only about an hour to assemble all the parts, each step must be done correctly because if a part doesn't fit or isn't assembled properly, the transmitter might fail in subsystems test. The filter, shutter, FMO, circulator, power amp, and plug-in units must all be assembled according to the EL. Once a transmitter is assembled, it is considered to be a subsystem and is sent over to subsystems test to make sure it's working properly.
Now that all of the assembly steps have been completed, the important job of ensuring that the radio subsystem meets all of the specification begins. Assuming that we have no wiring errors, bad solder connections, faulty components, the panel should test and align properly. At this position, we tune the frequency modulated oscillator, which is called an FMO. The oscillator is the heart of the 78 transmitter, and we use it to send out voice data and video transmissions. At this position, we tune up the AFC mixers. The AFC mixer is used to keep the FMO that we just saw on frequency.
So far, we've been following the progress of units through the RF section and panel test. These are the same units that go into making up the transmitter we looked at earlier. The RF section is radio frequency, dealing mostly with units up around 1.5 to 2 gigahertz. At the same time, in the panel test section over here, the IF, intermediate frequency, and baseband sections, units are currently being tested that will go into the same transmitter. Check on the transmit meter boxes and leave them for swing shift tonight.
Sure, I'll get back to you on that, Steve.
All right, thank you. I'll be open for us this session.
Okay. Hey, pal. Those meter panels are hot. Will you be able to get those out by 3 o'clock?
Yeah, they're just about finished now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
After the radio's transmitter has been tested, it's aged in an oven. In addition to testing transmitters, the receivers are also tested in the subsystems area. The receivers are tested at several different positions depending on the type of system the receiver is to be used in.
When we complete the tests in this department, this goes to a quality assurance mechanical inspection and then to the systems assembly area.
Now that we have the transmitters and receivers from subsystems, we'll proceed to build this rack according to the EL. I'll give this EL to John, and he'll assemble it on the rack according to the profile.
After the rack has been completed in systems assembly, it's brought down here to the systems test area and placed in what we refer to as Station 1. Here the rack will be loaded with the plug-ins that are required to complete this particular sales order. Now this rack cannot be pulled into test until all the plug-ins are completely loaded and the rack is fully equipped. Anything that's missing prevents it from being pulled into test. This is why the overall coordination, the sales order flow is so important. The final testing of this radio system involves powering up the transmitter and the receiver at both ends of the system to simulate the way it will be in the field, and then make necessary alignments so that the radio meets all specifications. Our ultimate goal, once again, is the on-time delivery of a top-quality radio system.
This is a typical radio system test position. Engineers are called out to the factory on occasion for various reasons, one of which might be to evaluate a new product like the 353A order wire operating with an older system like the 78B3 radio. Occasionally, engineering is called to solve technical problems. Also, we have occasion to evaluate new components in operating systems like this microwave power amplifier.
This is the last step in the manufacturing chain. This is cleanup. In cleanup, we remove tags, add covers, inventory the equipment to make sure the customer gets exactly what he ordered. If we can consistently ship a high-quality product on schedule, we will be able to improve our market position in many areas. These areas include GTE operating companies, private utilities, pipelines, and railroads.
At last, it's all done. The buyers have done their buying. The expediters have expedited. The receiving clerks have received the material. The inspectors have inspected it. It went into stock and was finally issued to the production line, where it was assembled into this magnificent piece of equipment. We are certain of one thing, and we can all be quite proud of it. It will go out to one of our telephone company customers, where it will give many, many years of excellent service to the satisfaction of our customers, who will then come back to us for more and more equipment as the years go by.
Come on, Kimka. I'm the Southern Pacific microwave maintainer. My job is to maintain these microwave sites. This site has just been installed, and I came here to check it out, make sure that it's operating perfectly, and it meets all of our standards. I check the generator to make sure that it is operating properly. I check the wave guides. I make sure that all the ground clamps are in place. I check visibly the antennas and any lighting system that should exist. I helped to put in the first microwave site in 1955. I've been using microwave ever since then. People think of Southern Pacific, they think of trains. Southern Pacific is a lot more than that. Southern Pacific has been using microwave since 1955 and has found it to be very, very dependable, efficient, and economical.
A manufacturing organization is evaluated based on its ability to produce a quality product on schedule within budgeted cost. As you've seen from the tape, the customer requires on-schedule delivery, and so we're dependent on all employees who work on radio products to meet the internal schedules of their departments. Because the successful growth of radio depends on you to consistently make a quality product, we hope you'll continue to do the best job you possibly can.